Hello amateur professionals, Weber here with another video that I know you've been keeping an eye out for. And if you pupils are watching this video right now, then I know it's probably caught your eye. So why don't you put a lid on it and we'll see if we can make this an eye-opening experience. Hey everybody, I have the tiger in the credits there, but apparently it's copyrighted, and you can use copyrighted music, but I don't want to, or something. Anyways, in case you didn't guess, today we're going to be working on eyes. Eyeball, not eye, but eyes. Yes, eyes. Anyways, speaking of eyes, I'm going to try harder to look into the camera this time because my last video I was terrible at that, and I got literally a million emails about it of people asking me to look into the camera. No, I'm lying. At this moment right now my video has 35 views, which is not bad. I'm okay with that. And I have 2 subscribers who, as far as I know, are people that I don't know. That's exciting. So 2 subscribe, but I would like to give a shout out to the 2 subscribers. I don't want to be a subscription whore, so I'll just say it right now. If you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel, because I enjoy seeing the subscriber number go up. That's the only time I'm going to say that. I'll probably lie now. Yes, I'm probably lying. I might say it in the future, but I'm definitely not going to be one of those people who asks you to subscribe every freaking time you watch the video, which annoys the heck out of me, okay? Now that we're good with that, let's move over to the computer so we can look at eyes. As I told you before, we are going to work on the Impatient Person's Guide for how to do animation. So, the first thing, first thing that I'm going to say is simplest possible eye in the entire world is basically 2 dots. And we're going to just start with those 2 dots right there. This is the simplest eyes ever. You can add anything to this. You can add a nose and a smiley face and whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want with these eyes. Now, here's a little trick that I like to do with my eyes. Eyes have a reflection in them. So what I like to do is, and you'll see this in a lot of different comics, is I like to just, simplest way to do this is just to erase a little bit here. Here's how I would suggest doing it: drawing with a pencil, outline your eye, and then just do one of these right here for your reflection, and then you can just fill it in like that, like you would with a pencil, and you have your reflection. This is a really simple reflection. If you want to do something more complicated, no problem. You can give the illusion of all sorts of different lights in the room, make all sorts of dots everywhere. You know, if they're supposed to have a ring light around them, do one of those. That can give you like kind of a creepy look. A lot of people on YouTube videos have ring lights. But this is something, I mean, this will apply to these sorts of eyes, and it'll also apply to any pupils that you do in the future. The only thing that you'll have to remember is these reflections should always be the same, because if we're thinking about light sources in a room, you generally want them to look the same because the room has all the same light sources in it. So this is essentially the simplest possible eye that you can do. Eyes are my favorite thing to do. And as I wrote in a paper once, eyes are the breasts of the face. There will be an episode about breasts, which will come much, much later, and I'll be sure to be as immature about it as possible. So let's move over here and study a few different eye types. Now, when I started animating, I started with a book series called Flying Rhinoceros versus Baron von Boredom. These guys, they're local to me. Their eyes, I know these do look like breasts right now, but they're always sort of attached together. And this is a really cartoon, fun looking eye. It's essentially just you like smash two eggs together. You know, they work really well. They give you a really nice cartoony look. And you can play around with all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So this is how I was a kid. This is like 4th grade that I started doing eyes like that. Another type of eye that you can do is, separate them. Just round and separated. If you're on a pencil, I would just say draw light. And if you mess up, just draw right over it. I wouldn't really worry so much about erasing or anything like that. Because if you're using a pencil, you can ink it later on a computer using something like GIMP, which is free. Or you can ink it by putting another paper over that paper and just tracing, which can actually give you a really nice effect. So these are round eyes, and I really like to use these for my characters now. Mostly because they look a little bit better and they're easy to use for like proportions and whatnot. And I'll explain proportions later in more detail. But basically, when you start with the eyes, you can use these eyes to make up the proportions of your person. By essentially measuring out the head, you can start with the eyes and make something look either really natural or really cartoony. Proportions might be my next video. It's pretty important. But I'm just going to start with the eyes now because it's pretty simple. Couple other things, like I said, lazy person's guide, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about eyes. Female eyes, I've always found female eyes look better when they're tilted down slightly, which also can very dangerously make them evil. Here you have an angry eye versus a female eye. So here what I'm going to do is I have one that I'm happy with, and on the computer this is really easy. You just modify, transform, flip horizontal, and so you have two eyes that are identical. And right now we're just going to do head-on stuff because it's really easy. So we have these eyes, and they do look a little angry. But there are a couple things that you can do to eyes if you're worried that they're going to look angry to make them look less angry. Really, really cool thing about eyes is their eyebrows. So if you want to make less angry eyes, which are supposed to look more like cat eyes, look not angry, put a couple eyebrows on there that are facing down, and see, look, it took these eyes that look pretty angry. Now they look relatively normal. Well, normal. They don't look angry anymore. And then female eyes, if we just do a few eyelashes, just a couple. You don't have to go overboard. Just a couple eyelashes on the outside. Now, like I said before, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's gonna look good with tons of eyelashes. And I know it's probably a little sexist to be saying, put eyelashes on your female in order to make her look more womanly or whatever. But honestly, you're going to want to play with some of the basically preconceptions that people might have. So you will want to use, eyelashes and whatnot if you want to make a character look more womanly. You don't have to. There's all sorts that you can write, like, oh, she's a woman or whatever. And people will accept it. They'll accept anything that you say. If you say, if you have a circle with two little dots like that, but you say, oh, this is a girl, here's her ponytail, people are going to believe you. This is just, a little doodle. But like I said, doodles, do whatever you want. That's how it is. All right, so let's go into some different styles of eyes. So if you want to do, there's all sorts of different styles of eyes, and I would recommend to you, if you're just starting out or something, I would say, experiment a bit, because this is about experimentation and getting something that is uniquely you and right to you. This type of eye here is an anime eye, and I know I'm gonna get a billion videos of people saying, "Oh, I can't believe that you would say this." I absolutely hate anime. I hate it so much. I think it's a cool art style, and I'm probably getting the eye wrong, but I mean that's an anime eye. Giant pupil, kind of big lashes, really giant eye, and then you have like a tiny nose. Usually, like whoop, that's their nose. That's an anime nose. Human eyes are a little difficult to do, especially if you're kind of like me and you're a slacker, procrastinator, whatever you want to call it. I'm the lazy person trying to do something that looks okay so I can tell my story. And that's really what it all comes down to, is telling the story. I would caution you against doing something too complex from the beginning, although complexity is where we learn. So complex complex the crap out of your life. If you want to do the human eye, do the human eye. I don't care. Figure it out. Do it yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Do whatever you want to do, because it's gonna be awesome whatever you do. And you know what? I'd like to also take this moment to just ask you guys, if you're out there, if you're practicing with some of the techniques, I guess the techniques which are crappy, the lazy man's techniques. I would love to see some of the things that someone here is doing. So send me your animations. Send me the things that you're working on. Send me complaints because I'm not funny enough. I kind of feel that this video isn't very funny already. Oh, I fail at life. No, I'm not failing at life. That's what I tell to help myself sleep at night. If you're interested in a particular art style, you should go to the library or the bookstore and look at other artists who do a similar art style. That's what, as a writer, which is what I professionally do. As more of a professional writer, I read other books of authors whose style I want to emulate and incorporate that into my style. So do your own style. Don't just copy outright because you want to make it your own, but don't feel like you shouldn't go and like you're plagiarizing someone's work if you are going there. And if you don't want to do that, because this is the lazy man's version, screw it. Just spend 3 hours in the Imaginarium each day and you'll be successful. Imaginary. Stop making references to things people won't get. Basically, I guess I'm just leaving you with this today, to draw a whole bunch of circles. And that's kind of the lazy man's way of drawing eyes. I kind of feel like I should have explained eye expressions, because there's a ton. Eyes can do a ton of different things to the face in order to make your face more expressive. But I think that's something that needs to be established when we get an entire face and an entire head done, because the head is the head of the something. The head. Once we get head, that didn't sound good. I'm going to explain to you, once we get a whole head, how to make them more expressive. Because there's a ton of really cool ways to make eyes expressive with eyebrows and whatnot. Just experiment with different eyes and find an eye that you really like. I've found the eye style that I really like, and you might find an eye style that you really like that's completely different from the eye style that I like. Big eyes, anime eyes, small eyes, the little dot eyes. This is art, guys, and art is impossible to do wrong. Draw eyes and figure out your own style. Figure out something that you enjoy, and then we can work on that to incorporate it and move it into the whole that is your art style. So thanks for watching my video. It's been a really fun time. Check you later, animator.